Hi, everybody. It's Honest John again. And as far as the Republican campaign goes, it's all over but the shouting. Barring an absolute disaster, Mitt Romney will be the Republican nominee. So now the focus turns to who's going to be his running mate. Though the vice presidential choice rarely wins the election for the ticket, it can lose it. Who knows? George H.W. Bush might have had a second term if Dan Quayle had been a more credible candidate. The choice of Tom Eagleton was a disaster for the Democrats back in the day. And though it's a stretch to say Sarah Palin lost the election for John McCain, she certainly did a lot of damage. At one time, the vice presidential candidate was chosen to balance the ticket geographically, ideologically. Uh, example, John Kennedy chose Lyndon Johnson. Uh, they didn't get along, they didn't like each other, but the geographical balance of a Massachusetts senator and a guy from Texas was a winner for them. Oddly, uh, Sarah Palin's name has come up as a contender for the vice presidential nomination. Now, the only reason Mitt Romney would choose her is if he were determined to lose in a landslide. So I don't think that's going to happen. Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell was one of the front runners until he became known as Governor Vaginal Probe. The Republicans are trying to convince women that they actually respect and value them, despite the anti women legislation that has been enacted by Republican state houses and governor all over the country, and also by the Congress. Having the very personification of the Republican war on women would make that a real uphill climb. People are touting Marco Rubio, and they think he'll help with the Latino vote. Well, Rubio's Cuban, and most Latinos are keenly aware of the difference in immigration policy towards Cubans as opposed to towards the rest of Latin America. Not only would it not help with most Latin Americans, it might actually create more resentment. Also, the amendment that became known as the Blunt Amendment, which tried to take health care away from women, was actually the Blunt Rubio Amendment. He was co sponsor. And I'm sure that if he does get the vice presidential nominee, the Democrats will make sure that everybody knows that. But his biggest problem stems from his dishonesty. Uh, for years, he has been spinning this tale about his family's emigration from Cuba to the United States as a heroic escape from Fidel Castro's regime. Well, it turns out that his family actually came to America 5 years before Castro took power. Now, politicians lie all the time, but you don't want to be caught in such an obvious one. A very interesting name that has come up has been Condoleezza Rice. Now, she's smart. She certainly is capable. But every time she's interviewed, she winds up defending the Bush administration. I think it would be great to have a constant reminder of what the GOP did last time they were in power. Thanks for listening.